Hi everyone, I'm Jenna. I'm the co-founder and host of the Kind Community Show. We share stories of founders, activists, and influencers promoting positivity and protection of our planet, discussing how collaboration can help make the sustainable attainable. On today's show, we have Nohelia Rambal, social entrepreneur and founder of Goodfind, the sustainable brand directory. Goodfind aims to ease the connection of shoppers and ethical businesses. There are plenty of brands out there doing good things, and Nohelia has made the process of alternative shopping an accessible and, most importantly, useful journey for customers. Anything on your usual shopping list you can probably find on the more ethical version on Goodfind. In today's episode, you'll learn a bit more about Nohelia's journey into sustainability, her varied background, and her upcoming involvement in Plastic Free July and her Rethink Plastic initiative. Nohelia, hello. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Kenneth. Thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you again. So you're in is it Euclid's network?
Euclid,
Top
yes.
100 Women in Social Enterprise of 2021. An amazing thing to accomplish. But where did your journey start?
I am, and it was such a surprise this year when I actually got it. I almost applied thinking, I know it's early, but I want to get myself in the mindset of applying for these things because I want to know what that process entails. And it was such a surprise when I actually got the nomination. The actual spot in the list of top 100 is a European wide list of women doing important or things of importance in the world of social enterprise. And the journey started much earlier, but in a lot less formal way. I would say I don't have that typical background in sustainability. My career was marketing. My background was retention marketing for multinationals. And I always had my side of social awareness and awareness about issues, ethical and social and environmental, but I didn't know exactly how to kind of channel them. It was probably 8 years ago when I started thinking I want to create my own business and I want that business to be for purpose. And I started doing a million ideas and plans, and at the same time as having my job, right? Like I would go into events and try and understand how to start a business, what was a social enterprise, and building my knowledge around that. It was in 2019 that I decided to quit corporate and go and start doing marketing consultancy. And that's when I realized that I could do something on my own as a startup and fill a gap in the market, as you said in the beginning, to connect shoppers with good things doing good and good brands doing good. So that's when it did it. So when I applied to this award, I was not sure I was going to get it. So it was such a surprise, and the journey started in a very fluid, organic way, and it's the first time I think that I'm actually doing something real about it. So I'm more than happy to be a part of that list this year.
Oh, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So could you perhaps tell us a bit more about what does it mean to be an impact business?
Absolutely. When I quit my corporate career to go into a marketing consultancy, I did it with the purpose of learning a bit more about how you could be a business and do profitable things, but also have a purpose, and how did that work for different organizations. So during my consultancy time, I actually worked with people like charities, CICs, social enterprises, and also limited companies, but all of them with like a core with purpose. And what it means, I think, it means that yourself and your business are not only dedicated to generate profits or serve your customers, which is what most companies out there are set up to do. When you are an impact organization, which is a blanket term to kind of involve everyone that does purpose, I think what it means is that you have designed inside your business model or in your business structure, logistics, etc., ways to do good beyond what you're required to do. So when you go a step further and think about how your business model can change to benefit someone or something, environmental or social. Or when you go again and say, part of my profits, it's not easy for me to embed that on my business model or my logistics, but I'm going to do my profits. I'm going to give a side of that, a portion of that, to a certain charity, to a certain cause. Or I'm going to use this type of materials that are actually helping solve an environmental problem. All of these things go into the umbrella of impact organizations. They're basically putting back, not only taking.
Wonderful. So to call Goodfind a directory is perhaps a massive undersell. After all, it's much more than that. Much more than a catalogue. It's a form of advocacy at its core. But how do you like source the brands on Goodfind? Is there a certain criteria a brand must meet, and what types of ethical standards do you hold businesses account to?
Absolutely. It's a funny thing you say, because yesterday we had a meeting with my advisory board, and they said, and it made me really happy to hear, I think you're building a movement, and it was really moving to hear it, and now you're kind of on the same path. Yes, it's a directory in the sense of it has that functionality. It just helps you search for things and find answers to your queries. But what we're doing really is challenging the way people consume, and challenging people in a positive way, not in a nagging, annoying way, but in a way in which it's just inspiring and easy and practical to think, that thing that you're buying, can you just find an alternative that doesn't damage the environment or that helps vulnerable groups in society? So based on that, our criteria to welcome brands include kind of your typical ESG, sustainability, certification kind of process without us being a certification. So when we onboard brands, we want to be as welcoming and inclusive as possible. So we don't require brands to be certified, and we don't require brands to be perfect. Everyone is on a journey to do good, and for us, small steps and incremental improvements are good enough. What we require brands is to be one, B2C, sorry. So basically that they are direct to consumers, that they have a product or a service that they sell direct to end consumers and not other businesses. And the second one that is they do good proactively. So based on what I said before, you not only have something small like, oh, well, I have this product and my packaging is just plastic free. Is that enough? Is your product, like we try and push those boundaries. So as welcoming as we are, we then, after they go through the assessment and apply online, we go and try and actually see whether there are red flags. So things that we would like to go back to them and ask them. But in general, we ask questions from a environmental, and what's your processes and your packaging, etc., and social. So do you have any social impact, any part of society that you help, etc.? And then all the governance part, as in how do you drive your business? Do you have transparency? Do you respect human rights whatever you work in the world? Do you pay the real fair wages whatever you work in the world? And things like that. So, and in that process, not wanting to become a big certification corporation like there are others out there, what we want to do is be sure that everyone has a minimum standard. And to be honest, it has been only a couple of brands that we have said no to, sadly. So I think the brands that we tend to attract are all kind of very much into this path of purpose for real.
Thank you for that. And I guess if any sort of companies that you turn away, they can always go off and improve their processes and practices and then come back.
Absolutely. That's what we have tried to do, kind of point out the things that we think they could improve before kind of coming back to us and applying again. When the mission and that purpose is not clear enough, we cannot kind of vouch for them in the same way. We need to make sure that everyone on our platform, actually, we can stand by saying that this is an ethical alternative of others that you normally get from the supermarket. And in this process, we have gotten better. We have changed. Not when we started just, we would like get the brands listed and then invite them to like see their page, because we wanted to just generate that content on the website, right? Like to be able to attract the users. So I think it's a process that is improving even on our side, understand better which brands we want to work with and how to make sure that we're working with the right type of brands. So it's been a journey, and we're super happy to now have more than 600 brands on the platform that matches that criteria. So,
in a recent Goodfind interview with Maya Simla, gender equality in a sustainable space was the focus. These conversations are, of course, vital to having an emerging and fast-growing industry, an industry that not only leads ethical change, but for the environment, but also for people too. What has been your experience, Nohelia, as a woman in the sustainable business world? What barriers have you had to face that men do not? And how have you overcome these? And how do you suggest to continue to evolve the conversation of empowerment in parallel to climate positivity?
That's an amazing question. I think it's so important for us. It's something that we have so close to our heart. As a women, as a woman that is a founder of a business and a kind of female founder and social entrepreneur, I feel I'm in the best industry possible. I think when we see diversity, and I see that based on the 600 brands on our directory itself, when you see the diversity of that, a much higher percentage is are female founders and female directors of this company than it is outside the social enterprise and business for purpose world. So is the right business and industry to be in. Sustainability, I think, for females is easier or better, I suppose, but it's not there yet. Things I have seen as kind of, I wouldn't say kind of barriers, but that I already find more difficult are like funding, for example, trying to get your startup off the ground with funding and angel investors or VCs. There is always this, there's enough documentation out there, but you hear people that have gone through this phase. I'm very new to all of this, but I hear interviews with Tessa Clark from Olio and other admired by me female founders in the space of impact that tell people about their experience of raising funds and how it is still a very, very small percentage. I think 1% of funding that goes to all female funding teams out there. So it is, when I hear those stats, I kind of feel a bit like, oh, I'm starting this process and I feel kind of, I'm already defeated, right? Like it's such a hard and difficult statistic to process, really, when you are part of that group. And to push that question actually a little bit more, as everyone can probably hear from my accent, I'm not a native English speaker and I'm not a native from England. So I've been 14 years in the country, but I'm originally Venezuelan. And I think that's another barrier I have found. Apart from being a female, I'm also foreign. And in certain events and certain media things where maybe the diversity of the people they are used to isn't that much, then I can feel the difference in the way people will take me into account or talk to me or approach me for things. And it's again, it's another barrier. I don't see them as barrier, really. I see them as opportunities for me to learn about this, because it's a topic I'm passionate about, and for me to talk about it and educate. So these opportunities to talk about it are really, really good, and I hope people listening can kind of take that away and saying, oh, well, actually, people go through those things. It's not like a myth. It's not about diversity. It's not something that we just think about when we go on crisis moments. It's every day. Inclusion is an everyday thought, I think.
Nohelia, could you perhaps share some insight or how you've been able to navigate that access to funding for the other female founders and women-led businesses out there?
Yeah, so as I said, I'm very early in my journey, so I haven't really gone out looking for funding in a very kind of hard way. I have been doing events and meeting people primarily, and I have kind of soft launched my funding. My way to go around is following the tips and learnings from other female founders. Let's go first with the attitude of, I can do this. What would a man do in my place? Which is something actually also Tessa talked about in a podcast. And don't underestimate your numbers. Don't underestimate what you're doing. Pitch yourself high, etc. Which are things that I don't know if inherently, but generally women try to go for what is what is more. I'm not going to say real, because it's not about lying. It's more about realistic and not kind of overpromising. But then we look in disadvantage next to people that are less afraid to overpromise and then try and deliver it. So yeah, I'm trying to just navigate by doing the best I can, and not necessarily trying to look like a man, although the thinking what would a man do helps, but in a way also trying to kind of dismantle that standard that says you have to behave like one in order to look more respectable or demand attention, etc. So yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm still in the process, so I don't think I have all the answers. If you ask me in 6 months, I'll probably have more answers for that.
Thank you, and any of the listeners and viewers here today that has perhaps any tips or can help Nohelia on a journey that's done this journey before, please feel free to reach out and share that resources.
Please do.
The character of Goodfind is a wonderfully rebellious one, and I'm not just referring to the rich language of your copy. The whole tone of the brand you've built feels a little bit combative. No room for nonsense, and here to do one thing: be good to the planet and make it easy for others to do the same. How did this sort of tone come about, and are there a few of your own characteristics embedded into Goodfind?
I mean, the first thing I want to say is it was not at all a one-man job or woman job at all. It was a team building this that you see, and I want all the credit to go to all the team, and I'm going to go through it in a minute. So, parts of me, I always envisioned the brand to be exactly what you just described. I always envisioned the brand to be that challenger brand that did not kind of satisfy itself by just being another, sorry, I don't mean to offend with this, but vanilla brand that talks in sustainability terms in female ways and all kind of very pastel colors and very kind of towards certain side of society that is maybe I don't know, more used to spending a little bit more, or has more privilege in many ways, right? And more time, more money, whatever it is. I wanted this brand to be more realistic, down to earth, spoke to more people, spoke to more men, and made this problem, and not the problem, the solutions, more accessible to everyone or to more people. So that's spot on. Now, we were called something different. We actually called the do-gooders until back earlier this year. And we knew there was something there that wasn't quite clicking with people. When I registered myself that domain and all of that, it was something I had thought about in the past for another business idea. And I just said, well, for this test I'm just going to use that. But very quickly understood that was not going to take me that far. So the first thing that happened was an incredible brand strategist joined me for a period of time, and we redid the brand from the ground up. Although the values were pretty much there and the vision and the mission, we kind of turned it we perfected it, and it was an amazing piece of work. From there, we decided on a new name. So Goodfind, the name was born then, and then a new identity, which gives all the kind of rebellious kind of look and feel to the brand. The words actually, and how it started, the tone of voice, because we all had all those elements, and we still were thinking something is like missing here. We really want that pushy kind of kicky tone of voice, and we partnered again with an amazing agency, Read Words, that help us develop our tone of voice and help us build kind of a guidelines to then keep doing that tone of voice. I don't think we get it right all the time. They're so amazing what they created for us. We kind of now try and keep alive, but I think any person driving a brand will have the same kind of problems. But yeah, the basis of it and where it was born was from both, well, myself and the idea first, and then the vision of it, then the brand strategist and Read Words and their amazing work on copywriting. So teamwork.
No, it's beautiful. It's honestly, it's really good that it comes through on that. You're doing a good job. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Could you? We're shooting this right now in July. It's plastic-free July. Could you tell us a bit more about Goodfind's Rethink Fashion initiative? Rethink Plastic.
Yeah, no,
Rethink
that's fine.
Plastic initiative.
Yeah. So we. Plastic Free July is a movement that has been around for years and years, and has millions of people around the world joining in. I tried it myself and found it impossible. The actual challenge of going a month without single-use plastic, I found it completely impossible, to the point in which I got frustrated, and it was almost like it was my normal life or the challenge. And I think talking about this with my team earlier this year, what we decided was this should be easier for people. And I think what people need is to choose one thing to swap, and that should be it. And I think Plastic Free July, that's exactly what they want to get people to think about. But the challenge itself was kind of set to be like Plastic Free July completely, right? So what we did was we created this hub, this campaign initiative, this page where we curated more than 60 plastic-free alternatives and things and around 8 different categories. So anything from toilet, kitchen, household, but also on-the-go things and day-to-day essentials, that people can just easily just swap what you're using single-use plastic for this reusable thing that you don't have to throw away every time. So we curated those brands, and then we created some content to help people kind of, including kind of sign up to the challenge. Why not, right? Like the challenge will send you like nudges and emails every now and then to let you know how things are going, etc. So sign up to Plastic Free July challenge, but also read these and create some content around cooking, around best ways to kind of cook efficiently, so you don't have to like shop in plastic single-use things and throw away. Content around what is plastic and why is it so damaging, and let's learn a little bit more. So without being scientists ourselves, we're just trying to put enough resources that help people make decisions this month of July and beyond, and just change some behaviors and get more people excited about just doing small swaps and little steps towards a less plastic life.
Yeah, you're so true with that, because tiny incremental changes stacked up, compounded over time, makes a huge difference and a wider impact. So
and more manageable.
Exactly, and so anyone here, please go and sign up to the challenge on goodfind.io. You work with Ranwoh, the social enterprise empowering single mums. Could you tell us a bit more about this partnership and how does it work?
Yeah, my pleasure. So last year at the beginning of the pandemic, I was kicking off everything on a full-time basis for the first time. I realized actually I want to dedicate time to this, see if it has legs. And the first thing I realized is as a solo founder and solo person working on the project, I was doing a lot of repetitive, very admin-y jobs to find the brands, to invite the brands, to upload the content, etc., etc. So there were in that kind of stream of work, there were a lot of things that I could actually delegate, and I started looking for a virtual assistant. Basically, at that point, the story goes, I went on social media and other channels, and I asked, I want to hire someone to do virtual assistant, very flexible work around their own time. And because it's their own time and these difficult times have been so challenges for everyone, actually, I want to help specifically a single mom. So anyone who knows a single mom that just lost their job or for any reason are in a difficult situation and need this extra work and a flexible hourly rate, then please get in touch with me. And by doing that, I got in touch with Ranwoh, which is a social enterprise that was at the moment kind of starting to set up. And although they had been away and they had been around for a bit, it was kind of still kind of finding their ground. And I talked to Ebon, the founder, and I said what I needed, and she was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So I ended up kind of not only having the one mom working with me, but actually supporting this other social enterprise that supports many moms that need, and parents, actually single parents in general, that need flexible work and to work around their own schedule with their priorities, because they don't have the same amount of help that normal families out there have with two parents. So yeah, it has been fantastic. They still work with us, and although it's not a ton of hours every week, it's the oldest person I've worked with. It was exactly the first person I ever worked with, and she's still around. So I'm it's very excited to shed the light towards them as well, as much as I can, and still work with them, and hopefully in the future I can even work more with them, because I think it's an amazing cause.
Now it's time for the quick fire round.
Yeah.
So slightly short questions, hopefully, but just real quick, as quick as possible. But some of these questions are actually quite, they may take a longer response. But how do you define sustainability?
Sustainability to me is the art of permanence. I think sustainability is always related, or in people's mind, it tends to be related to eco-friendly and environment issues. To me, sustainability means both social, because without humans, we don't respect our human rights, etc. It doesn't work either. And then obviously the environmental side of things. And permanence just means that you act and you use less than you have, so you can always have more, so you can produce more and always have more. So yeah, it's just a simple way of seeing sustainability. I think just is being permanent, is not going away.
Wonderful. What are you most hopeful for?
I'm hopeful for new generations to keep pushing in the way of more awareness about the single person's impact around them. I think that is something that is already happening, and I hope that it just keeps happening. There was a lot of lack of awareness in the past, and I think knowing more and following science will get us to that point in which everyone is empowered to do more for their own impact, and to decrease that or to increase the positive one. So yeah, I hope that is a trend that continues and grows.
Nohelia, what are you most fearful of?
I'm fearful of another society trend, not being connected. Connection between people, between society, between neighborhoods, between communities is so important. That's I'm fearful for. I'm fearful of loneliness in society, or elder loneliness, and other type of loneliness. I think that's one of the saddest problems I've seen: homelessness, loneliness.
Yeah. Who inspires you?
So many people, from my mom, who is a great, admirable woman in their own kind of small ways and important ways, to, I don't know, probably as a public figure, my favorite one at the moment is Malala. And for the last, I don't know, 5 years, I think what she has done and keeps doing is amazing, and I really respect her. She's my little idol.
Where will you be in 10 years?
I hope in 10 years I am actually, I have kind of become this serial social entrepreneur, and have actually developed Goodfind is huge and everywhere, but also a bunch of other ideas I have. There are so many problems to fix out there, and I really, really want to kind of start one and the other after. So I want to be happy in all sense, family life, personal life, but also a kind of an entrepreneur of more than one initiative that do positive impact in different ways.
Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure speaking to you today, Nohelia, and it's been great learning from you and your connection to ethical business. Could you please let our audience know how they can connect with you and Goodfind?
Yes, and it's been a pleasure to be with you too. Thank you, Keller. So we are goodfind.io on Instagram, goodfind_io, same for Twitter. And yeah, please come follow us. The initiative Rethink Plastic is live also on our website, so you'll see it on the homepage, goodfind.io. And yeah, come and join the conversation and do small swaps.
Thank you so much, guys. See you, Nohelia. See you very soon. All the best.
See you.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
If you're inspired by my conversation with Nohelia today, please do like, share, and subscribe for more conversations. Like, we go live every Friday, 1 p.m., and we very much look forward to you joining us next week. That's it for now, and thank you again. Have a wonderful weekend.